On your feet!
UAV awaiting orders.
I got called a ninja, and his aim really was that bad. Man, I really need to change my viewing habits on YouTube, because every video I click now, the related videos make me look like a middle-aged woman gamer weirdo. So now that I got that out of the way, hi, I'm Nightjester, also known as Richard, and I'm going to talk about my gaming style. I'm sure you care deeply about it, but it's not just my gaming style, and in fact, I'd like to point out that it's probably the least respected gaming style, and I'd like to go into why I play that way, and yeah, things of that nature. So here we go. For the longest time, slightly in Call of Duty 4, a little more in Modern Warfare 2, and at the very end of Modern Warfare 2 is when I became a strict rusher. At the time I called it a runner because I'm ignorant by choice and I don't watch a million videos where I learn people's terms for everything. So yeah, it's a rusher. And I'd like to call it a hardcore rusher because I literally rush faster than I can react sometimes. Just because in hopes that one day I'll be able to react that fast. And in my opinion, I'm pretty decent at Call of Duty and really every video game that I play now. Which is very odd because honestly I've always been notoriously bad at video games. Like really bad for the most part. But it wasn't until about 2 years ago I was alone in my apartment. I'm always alone. Mentally and for the most part physically. But I was alone in my apartment and I had some free time and I was like, I'm just gonna try to get good at Call of Duty for whatever ungodly reason. And at the time that was Modern Warfare 2. So I just played and played. And eventually something literally just snapped in my brain. And suddenly I became pretty damn good. Or, in my opinion, pretty decent, I guess. And I'll get into what I mean by good, because obviously I'm not, like, master of COD. But yeah, it was really weird. Suddenly something just snapped and I started getting top of the lobby a lot. And just doing a lot better than I've ever done. The most consistent I've ever done. At one point I realized I'm doing consistently well. I'm consistently placing at the top of the lobby, which at the time I didn't know about COD shenanigans and how rigged I think the game is. But I did find it very odd that I was doing so consistently well because that was the first multiplayer game I had ever done that consistently well. But that's not the really odd thing. So I became pretty decent at Call of Duty. That made sense, I played it a lot. But then suddenly I became a lot better at every other video game. Suddenly I was a lot better at Devil May Cry, which I've always enjoyed. Suddenly I was better at Rainbow Six. Suddenly I was just better at a lot of things. So that was cool, and from that point on, that's how I got my fix, is rushing, trying to push the game as fast as possible. Because Call of Duty to me is like a sports car. A lot of people that play it drive at about 20 miles per hour, and guess what? Yeah, they get great gas mileage, and by that I mean they get a lot of kills, they win a lot, they do good, they're good at Call of Duty. Me, I go 0 to 60 in a second, waste all of my gas, and never quite make it to my destination. So because of that, I never have EPIC KDs, or I rarely have EPIC KDs. Usually when I do, I call shenanigans on myself. But to me, that's just the way I enjoy the game. And honestly, if I do good at Call of Duty, it's not because I set out necessarily to do good. Being good at Call of Duty is a side effect to me. I play the game to test my reactions, to push my reactions, to enhance my reactions. Being good at Call of Duty is a side effect. Which is why I run the same class every time. The same perks every time. And I have done that since Black Ops. Modern Warfare 2, I was kind of in an in-between phase. That's when I still played it more as just a game. So I always switched up classes and things like that. Of course, I never ran annoying things. I do that a little more now, but you know, I never ran shotguns. I wasn't into sniping because I didn't see a point. And once I learned all the douches that associate themselves with sniping and its awesomeness, it put a horrible taste in my mouth, so I just wanted to genuinely avoid it. So since Black Ops, I run the perks that allow me to be the fastest and quickest that I can be. And in this game, since the beginning, for perk 1 I run lightweight, for perk 2 I run fast hands, and for perk 3 I run dexterity and extreme conditioning. If for some reason I can't run 2 perks, or when I couldn't run 2 perks because I didn't have it unlocked permanently, I ran dexterity over extreme conditioning because you can climb things faster. You also aim faster after sprinting, so that's a little better than being able to run 10 more steps. And yeah, that is a bit, I hate to use the word annoying, but you can't run very far. And that's kind of a problem I have with the game, but what I do like about it is that it forces you to be more strategic with your running. And plus, people would be way too powerful if they could run forever. The only problem I have with it is that it slows down my gameplay. And I run out of run a lot, and I feel like a jerk when I do. So yeah, those perks allow me to be the fastest that I can be, whether it's throwing things, climbing things, or just plain movement. And when I can, I run primary gunfighter, and since I don't have that permanently unlocked, when I can't run that, then I run 2 perks on my perk 2 slot, which is cold-blooded and fast hands. So that makes my character pretty powerful and fast. But the thing is, I never run tacticals, I never run lethals. Or I should say, for the most part, I never run lethals. If I do run lethals now, it's typically a tomahawk, and I have no guns. On one of my Night Jester accounts, yes I have 2, my most used tactical is a tomahawk, which is hilarious. So if I do run a secondary, such as a pistol, I don't run a primary. I never run a primary and a secondary together. For some reason I don't like it. I like the ability to have a knife. And from what I've noticed, you run just as fast with a pistol as you do with a knife. You just can't knife as fast unless you have the tack knife, which is great. It may be a little overpowered, I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree whether or not the knifing system in Black Ops 2 is broken, it's more difficult regardless. And as I've said before, I don't think the knifing system is broken. I knife a lot, and it seems to be as consistent as anything else in the game. And yeah, the game's consistently inconsistent, I know. But next, I'd kind of like to talk about how I combat getting frustrated with the game. One of the reasons why I avoid frustration with this game, and trust me, I still get frustrated with it, when I react as fast as I possibly can and the game just doesn't reward it. It's very frustrating because then I don't try, because sometimes you can react as fast as you can and still lose. This isn't a strictly reaction-based game. There are other variables. But one way I avoid frustration is I treat every situation as a mission. When I run into a room, the mission is to annihilate everyone in that room. Typically I die. Most people's mission is to get a high KD. KD is a meaningless number that you use to talk shit to other people. In the grand scheme of life in the universe, it is such a minuscule thing that once you leave this COD world that you do not live in, that you do not exist in, it becomes a phantom victory. It becomes a I once caught a fish this big story. When I leave COD, I bring my reactions with me. Whether I'm avoiding an accident, dropping my iPod, which, yeah, it's been a long time since I dropped an electronic to the ground, because now, for some reason, I have the ability to catch it. Thank you, COD, and I'm not even joking. Getting back to the I run into a room and die, that's where my style is not respected, I believe. I'm really not sure. But I'm fairly certain that my style isn't respected, because I don't get a high KD, typically. Because I'm not, in the eyes of YouTube, a good COD player. It's not respected the way I play. the thing is, and the thing no one would give me credit for, is that if I played more like a good COD player, I would be good at COD. Certain things I do are to make the game a little more difficult, and once again, it's kind of in hopes that, you know, maybe one day I'll just break through and become this amazing COD player. Well, that's not the hope that I become an amazing COD player, but if I do with my game style, then I would have accomplished my goal of having amazing reaction time, which I'm still working on that. I don't drop shot because I feel it gives you an unfair advantage, even in this game, because when people drop shot me, they instantly drop to the ground. Now, I don't instantly drop to the ground, so I'm not really sure how it works, but they go from standing to prone instantly. When I do it, there's a huge delay, but I don't do it because I feel it gives you an unfair advantage. I dodge left to right because it's more of a fair way to get away from enemy fire. And yes, drop shotting is a reaction based thing, but after you drop, you don't move. That's it, you just drop, and your reticle gets a lot smaller, which means your accuracy gets a lot better, which means you kill people a lot easier. And I think it's tacky. Another thing I don't do is I don't aim down sights, typically unless I see a person. You could say that I kind of quickscope people with assault rifles and SMGs. Now in my last game, I did aim down sights a little more than I really do, and the game seemed to reward that, but I really don't like doing that. I'm not one of those guys who runs around a corner and aims down sights. I run around a corner, and if I see a person, I aim down sights. Also, I pull a lot of dumbass moves, like I'll run straight through the front door, although I do climb through windows a lot. Sometimes I'll run straight through the front door just to see if I can pull it off. Like, I know there's a guy in the corner, I know he has this huge advantage on me, but if I pull it off and kill him, then that means I had to have reacted really fast. And in my mind, that's a victory. If I lose, then you can say, well, that guy's an idiot. Yeah, I'm a real idiot because I can't figure out that I should probably throw something in to stun you or go through the window. Yeah, I'm not that stupid. I pull dumbass tactics to see if I can pull them off. Anytime I'm attempting to pull off a flashy move, and no, none of my moves look very flashy because I'm not a trick shotter, because I think trick shotting is a gimmick. I don't know what kind of skill you're trying to show, but I don't do it because it really doesn't serve a purpose for the whole point of me playing this game, or the most valid point for me playing this game. Like when I pull off a 360 sniper shot at close range, that's a victory for me because I don't do that stuff. I don't practice that stuff. I pull it off due to sheer gaming skills, whatever the hell that means. And it didn't take me a million tries, or 2 months, or a setup lobby. I did it real time, at that moment, spur of the moment, like I do everything in my life. But it's probably best to end there, since I think I'm out of time. I hope anybody who watched has a little more feeling for my COD mentality now. Have a nice day.